All right, this ski technique is called minimizing vertical motion of the upper body center of mass. All right, and a little background, I developed this technique back in around 2005. And back then, I kept my upper body so low that my knees during transition would bash my chest. Both knees would come up, smash my chest, throw my head forward, right? And then shoot my legs out to the other side, lay them out. So I was laid out with a high angle, legs very laid out, so that my upper body was lowered to the snow, and I kept it low, right? All right. So what's the advantage of this? Why must you minimize vertical motion of the upper body center of mass? All right. Well, vertical motion of the upper body center of mass. If you have it going up and down, you see how this is the upper body. Here's the lower body, center of mass, roughly there, right? If you have it going up and down like this, right, it'll create unnecessary forces. It'll result in the concentration of force application, and it will delay turn initiation, right? As an analogy, it can be likened to throwing a ball up in the air. To throw it up, it takes some force, right? And then time is wasted while you're waiting for it to fall back down. And when it lands, it's going to land with impulse. An impulse is a concentration of force over time, right? Now, the unnecessary force applied to the snow to toss the upper body in the air, and then to catch it when it lands. Both forces, as you're tossing it up, and when it comes back down, especially when it comes back down with impulse, that can break ice bonds, throw snow, and bleed energy. All right. So while your body is high up in the air, the float time, all right, you cannot start applying force application until it comes back down. All right. So, um, yeah, this will delay turn initiation, which will, one, it'll delay force application, which results in concentration of force application, increasing the likelihood of exceeding shear force that will break ice bonds, throw snow, and bleed energy. All right. So you don't want to concentrate. Remember, the principle is to maximize the distribution of force application in both space and time. Next, you will be late in the turn, which can cause tactical disadvantages in terms of terrain. For example, if you have a gate set close to a fall away, drop off, especially a steep one, that will require an early turn, all right? And you'll be late in the turn, if you're late in the turn, you're not going to get most of the turn completed. And then when it falls away, all right, momentarily you're going to lose contact with the snow, and you'll be thrown out of your desired course. It also affect rut utilization. For example, if hitting a rut midway can cause a more perpendicular impact, which can bleed energy. All right. Next is a delayed turn initiation will cost a fraction of a second every turn, and that'll add up. I'm going to show you a video real quick of that. No, I'll wait. I'll explain this later. Okay, so let's talk about the factors that create float time, vertical motion. One factor, of course, is a bump. If there's a bump, it may bump you in the air, right? If there's a fall away, you can have some float time before you come back down, before you can apply pressure through your skis. Now, these bumps and fallaways are few and far between. Maybe you got a couple of each during the course, but every single turn you're going to have to cross over the hump. And I'll explain what that is over here. Another factor is if you have insufficient counter rotation while exiting a turn And if you have energy stored in your skis, the rebound energy released from the tails, if your chest are chasing your ski tips, will toss you into the air, or worst case, it'll flip you onto your back. Right. Well, that's some float time there. Now, as far as crossing over the hump, this occurs on every single turn, and there's no real hump, but it seems like there's a hump because in a turn, if you're making one turn and you're laid out with your lower legs angled out, laid out as much as possible, all right. When you come back across the other way, if you come straight leg, that's going to force your upper body up, right? Then before you can apply pressure in the next turn, you got to wait for that upper body center mass to fall back down to here, right? Then you can apply pressure. So it causes a delay, right? So let me explain this. Crossing over the hump, there is no real hump. The idea is when you are laid out to one side in a turn, your upper body center of mass is low, like it is down here. As your legs transition across the other side to the next turn, if you keep your legs straight, that's going to force your upper body up. The legs directly below the upper body will lift the upper body. This results in up and down motion of the upper body center of mass. All right, see it's going up and it's going back down, up, down. All right. So yeah, this is the amount of vertical motion here. Okay, so you want this. You want to keep that upper body center of mass at the same height throughout the whole turn. You don't want that to budge, right? So how do you do that? Well, when crossing over the hump, simply pull up your knees when the legs cross under the body during transition to the next. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I wanted to show you some old school. So this is how they skied it in the past, right? This is 2009 or 2010 at Solden GS race, and here's the winner of the race, a guy named Didier Couch, who is skiing a very old school technique. Watch all his vertical motion. Watch how he raises his upper body. I mean, this is how they skied back then. You know, in 2005, I'm skiing a whole different technique, and they're still doing old school here. Look at him get high, floating in the air, coming down, compressing, getting high again, extending. He's like an accordion. Up again, float time. Then you can apply pressure. See that snow he's throwing? He's concentration, the application of force coming down with impulse. Here's Ted Ligety, same race. He got second place in this race. Look at all that float time, way up in the air. Coming down hard, throwing snow. Up in the air, float time. Up in the air again, float time. Look at how high that arm is. He gets it down though. Up in the air, float time. Look at how high that arm is. That's the outside arm. This is Grange. I forget his first name. French guy. He was about the best in the world in slalom back then. Look at all that float time. Way up in the air. Look at how hard he came down. Look at that. He's just floating. Right? Delaying, application of force. Comes down with a lot of impact, impulse. Boom. Throws a lot of snow. Right? He's skidding out. His chest is chasing his ski tips. That's old school. Outside arm rotated around to get his upper body rotated in line with his ski tips. Why they did that, yeah, who knows back then. That's just what they thought. All right, up in the air. Float time. Coming down hard. Felix Norrider, float time. Coming down hard. Also, there's a lot of problems there. Again, he's whipping his outside arm around, rotating his body, right? He's skidding out through a lot of snow. Okay, here's Michaela. She's getting this is 2016, and she's still skiing with a lot of float time. Again, it's not as bad this time, but still some float time. Got to wait to delay your force application. Here's a little bit more float time. Boom, hits hard there. Up in the air, float. Not applying force until right there. Throwing a lot of snow then. All right. All right, so that's old school. Now, to avoid that, what you want to do is one thing you want to do is you want to pull up your knees when your legs cross the body during transition over the hump. Again, there's no real hump, but it seems like there is. If you ski, you know you'll feel that as you transition to the next turn. If possible, keep the skis on the snow, allow them to brush slightly across the snow as you transition across the hump. So you keep the skis touching the snow, let them brush lightly across, then apply force. Once you get across, shoot out your legs. So after you cross this point and you start going over here, shoot your legs out. All right. If you shoot your legs out and extend them, you'll rapidly re-engage and start applying force. Again, the whole idea is to maximize the distribution of force application in space and time. All right. Also, you want to extend them out pretty good because, don't ski crunched up in a compressed body position. Extend those legs as much as you can. All right, that'll minimize the amount of lateral motion you have to do with your upper body center mass, which also creates unnecessary force application. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so I said, then shoot the legs out to the side to rapidly engage force application and extend them as much as possible to minimize the lateral motion of the upper body center mass. All right, that's the next lesson we're going to talk about probably tomorrow. Now, in all turns, you want to ensure you have enough counter rotation so that when you get the springboard release of energy out of the tails, they throw your legs laterally across the hill to help you set up the next turn, right? Instead of tossing you up in the air or, worst case, flipping you on your back. Now, if you have up terrain like bumps, simply pull up your legs as you hit the bump to stay connected with the snow, right? And keep your upper body center mass from lifting. This will also avoid unnecessary force application. Another term for this is skiing like water. All right, try to ski with your body very soft, especially in the speed events when even small bumps can have significant effect. All right, down terrain. So this is like a fall away. Before you reach the edge or start of the fall away, pull up your legs so that your upper body is as low as possible as you're heading towards it. And if it's as low as possible, once you come off the edge, you can shoot down your legs to rapidly re-engage force application, right? Otherwise, what happens is if you go over the edge of a fall away, it's like the floor's dropped out beneath your feet. It's like, the cable of the elevator has been cut and it starts dropping away, right? You can't re-engage and apply force until your upper body falls back down. So if you keep your body low going over it, you'll be able to more rapidly extend your legs to more quickly re-engage force application for the turn. Now, if a gate is on a fall away, downslope, you'll want to initiate the turn early, completing most of the turn before you hit the fall away. This will require that you take a very high line, right? So if this is the gate, instead of coming here, you want to start your line up here, right? Get the turn started and most of it completed before you hit the fall away, because as soon as you hit that fall away, momentarily you're going to have a loss of contact with the snow. All right. Okay. All right, so number 8, this is a diagram showing proper method maintaining the upper body center mass level. Right, so you're laid out, legs extended to one side. As you're crossing back over, right, just pull up your knees. All right, and like I said, I would come across so rapidly, right, that it would actually bash my knees into my chest. Both knees would smash my chest. My head would fly forward, and then I would shoot out my legs rapidly to re-engage on the other side. You see, there's no vertical motion. Here you have vertical motion of the upper body center mass. Knees pulled up to effectively shorten the legs so it doesn't push up your upper body center of mass. All right, 9. So the key idea is to always keep the upper body center of mass low to the snow. All right, that's an ideal. Um, Exceptions for exceptionally wide gate sets. It may help to use a big aggressive wrist flick, like in slalom. All right, you flick it out and back, and this will generate more rebound energy, which will toss you up in the air more. However, if you have cranked up a lot of counter rotation, that should still throw your legs laterally across the hill, which is what you want in a wide gate set. All right, now in 2005, I used to keep this in mind. I wanted to lock my upper body in 3 ways, right? Now, using bullhorn arms, which are kind of wide and a little bit forward, kind of shaped like bullhorns, right? That would create leverage, which would allow me to keep my chest locked straight downhill. The bullhorn arms would also create leverage that allows me to keep my shoulders locked level with the horizon, right? And finally, I would try to keep my upper body center mass locked at the same level. So 3 ways I kept my upper body locked, and it creates a very stable upper body. And you'll see this in this video, especially this girl Anna. I don't know why she's not winning. She's got just great technique. It'll come around. Okay. All right, where is it at? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So this is a girl, Petra Belova, and she's using modern technique. Her chest is going to be locked downhill, but she's going to get a little bit more up and down motion than Anna. So hopefully you'll see this. All right. Notice with the chest locked downhill, she's getting counter rotation in her waist, right? And when the rebound energy hits, it throws the legs laterally to the other side instead of tossing her up in the air. Right. See how it's thrown laterally? This girl's just got wonderful technique. Look at how stable her upper body is. Chest locked downhill, right? Upper body barely moving up and down. She has a little bit more up and down. Look at how stable she is. Rock solid. Look at that rotation. Plenty of rotation. I don't want this. See, she's getting a little bit of up and down motion there. A little too much. And each time she goes up and down, there's a little bit of float time that adds time to her. It's just eating up some time. All right. Now, it's a fraction of a second, but, in a typical slalom course, there's like 40 to 60 gates. So, if you do that every turn, it adds up. And as it occurred, in the second run, this girl was 1.2 seconds ahead. That in ski racing, that's a huge amount of time, right? Races are won by hundredths of a second, so 1.2 seconds is huge. And I think a key reason why is because Petra got too much flow time. So just watch how stable she is. She's going up and down a little bit, but far less. Everything's rock steady in their upper body. Watch them rotate around their hips with a steady upper body. Entirely different from the old school technique. So let's watch this. She's coming in. Look at that counter rotation. With counter rotation, the rebound out of her tails is going to throw her legs this way, not up in the air. See how it's tossed laterally? Again, look at that rotation. That's wonderful. And her upper body is pretty stable up and down. See that rotation? Right? Chest locked downhill. Lower body rotating around that locked position. She's got the bull horns. You see that? That bull horns is doing two things, right? It's keeping her chest locked downhill. It's keeping the shoulders level to the horizon. See how she's got hip angulation because of that? This is just perfect. All this is, man, I don't know why she's not winning. I think she's kind of choking a little bit. She's got to get used to winning. Once she gets used to winning, she'll get confident. See how she absorbed that bump there? Boom. Look at that. Keeping that chest level. All right. So let's take a look at the difference between Petra and Anna. You see that she gets a little bit more hang time, right? And that's eating up the clock a little bit by bit each turn. See that little float, little float, right? And it delays her application of force. She's flatter. She's quicker, turn to turn, just slightly. See, a little bit of float. I mean, it's not much. This is pretty good. But she can iron it out a little bit. Okay, I think you get the idea. Let's see here. Yeah. All right, that's it for that technique. Once again, that's minimizing the vertical motion of the upper body center of mass.